welcome back to episode 2 of the Total Football Talk. I'm going to introduce the boys. They don't need any introduction, but we'll still introduce them anyway. To my right, to your left, to my right, Nejat.
Yep.
I call him Baklava now, from now on. That's his nickname.
That's not my, we're not going to keep that. No. You either call me Nej or Nathan.
Yeah, so Nejat and Dali on my left. I call him Salah now because there was a photo that he sent on the group chat.
I thought
it was the afro.
Exactly like Mo Salah. We're going to put it up.
Don't do that. Don't do me like that.
I thought you were going to say baklava and a balaclava.
No, he actually looks like Mo Salah in that photo. So we're gonna put it up. You look good.
We'll see.
It was a good photo. You played.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Did you win that game?
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyways, it's been an interesting week.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot of dramas going on.
Mm-hmm.
Champions League, Europa League.
Yep.
Glad that the competitions are back.
Yes.
So let's get stuck into it. I reckon we'll get into the Champions League first.
I have to say Arsenal.
That's the main topic right now. Arsenal is the main
I have
topic.
to say Arsenal. But before we get there, obviously Barcelona dominated Dortmund.
Yep.
Aston Villa.
Mm-hmm.
What a game that was.
Yes.
But to lose to PSG like that, it's scary.
You know
It
what?
is scary.
PSG is on fire.
Yeah.
They're going.
So I wasn't surprised on that result.
They are on a mad run.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bayern and Inter was 2-1.
That's the shocking result.
Expect Bayern to win, but Inter's been playing well as well.
Yeah, but they're not going good in their league. Well, they are. I think are they first? I don't know if they're first.
Bayern?
Actually. No, it's
Inter.
Inter.
Inter's first.
Inter's first. So they are doing
Napoli
well. But
second.
Napoli second. That was it. Yeah. But if you had to say the shocking result was Arsenal and Real Madrid, but Inter and Bayern was like a game where you would think that Bayern, because how well they dominate in Champions League, you would think they was going to win that game. Especially, I believe it was at home.
It was
Bayern's
at home.
home.
It was a
which
home
is
game.
even shocking.
But Lautaro Martinez is scoring goals, man.
Yeah,
He's scoring
Lautaro.
goals.
But if you like watching that game, okay, Bayern did have chances. Kane hit the post.
Yep.
Okay, but every time they took a shot, it was blocked. Typical Inter Milan, defensively strong. Every shot was blocked.
That's Italian football.
Italian football.
Italian
every
football.
shot.
That's what we love.
Fortress in the defense.
That's one thing. One thing I love about Italian football. The defense. It's been from Maldini, Nesta days until now. All right, it's dropped off. It's dropped off a bit, but it's starting to come back.
Yeah.
But look, one thing is the Arsenal Real Madrid result. I think it's going to be an interesting one at the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying 90 minutes at the Bernabeu seems very long.
Yes.
What do you guys think about it?
I believe the game, well, the leg is not over. I still believe that it's a possibility that Real Madrid will come back.
0-0.
It could be a 0-0.
You know how we score goals? We're 1-0 is that 0-0, 0-0.
0-0, yeah.
I reckon it's 0 for Real Madrid. They don't care.
But look, Arsenal did come with a game plan against Real Madrid, and it didn't backfire on them. It worked, obviously.
Arsenal were attacking.
They were attacking. They were
Arsenal
dominating.
Were attacking.
They were dominating. And when I mean by dominating, like Bellingham said it himself, they should have conceded more. But without Courtois being there, yeah, they should have conceded a lot more than what they had 3-0 at.
Who's their backup keeper? Madrid.
Lunin. Is it Lunin? Yeah, Lunin.
Lunin? Still there?
He does all right sometimes, you know.
Oh.
But 2 free kicks. Perfect free kicks. Well, the first one was a beautiful free kick. Technically, I would say it is perfect because of the way it curved around the wall.
Both free kicks were.
I still think he should have saved that first
For
one.
quality
I think he could have
keeper.
done better. I think he could have done better.
Yeah.
It wasn't high enough for him not to reach.
Yeah.
I think he should have just moved a bit earlier. But the
It was a
second
delayed
free
reaction
kick,
from him.
yeah, the second free kick was phenomenal.
The second one, 2
Hands
keepers there
down.
can't save it. Because in our language, in Turkish, what we call that? A 90, which is 90. Okay?
Right on the.
Right on the corner.
And there was a photo. We're actually
Just
going
like
to
netting
clip
too.
that photo. We're going to put that photo up
Mm.
for the viewers to see. It was perfection. It was
Yeah.
literally like that,
It
and
was
the ball
just-
just right there.
It was just about to hit that
I
edge of the
saw it,
post.
and I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that perfection, pinpoint.
And you can't say that it wasn't soft or anything. That was a very powerful shot.
Yeah, it
To
wasn't
hit
slow.
the ball with that much power, that much accuracy, to get it past arguably one of the best goalkeepers in the world
Yeah.
at the moment,
Would
on
you-
the biggest stage of club football.
Would you say that's the best free kick you've seen in a long time? Because my favorite free kick that I always look back and I still to this day don't understand how it went in was Dimitri Payet when he was at West Ham, when he just, and we'll put the clip up as
That
well.
was
When he
cool,
just
yeah.
went like curved from the bottom to the top, and it goes
The
in.
way
or
that ball
You wanna-
dips
you-
down.
You
Yeah.
want to talk about free kicks? I'm gonna wipe out Payet. I'm gonna wipe out Roberto Carlos and all that.
I had a feeling it was.
If you guys know this person, if you know ball knowledge, you know.
Can I have a guess?
Okay.
Juninho?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was gonna say the
Oh,
same.
let's
I was
go.
gonna say the same.
Janino from Lyon.
Yeah, everyone.
Lyon
knows that.
days, fire,
Yeah,
amazing. To this day, best free kick taker of all time.
they
No
do say
one
that.
can beat this guy.
Yeah.
This guy could take a free kick from a corner.
Yeah.
And he will get it in.
The venom he had.
He kept doing it actually when he moved to Qatar.
Yeah.
Mm.
He was a
kept scoring those.
really underrated player. Someone
was.
that has not been mentioned in
Yeah.
a debate or anything regarding free kicks or anything. Shout out Janino.
Shout out Juninho.
Not a
He's
legend.
probably not watching this, but yeah.
No, but yeah, like for Arsenal to go out to Real Madrid, well, not at Real Madrid, but at their home ground, you could say the Arsenal fans will never forget that, but they will forget it depending on the second leg
I think Arsenal fans,
at a high now.
no. Hear me out. Arsenal fans are shitting it more now going into the Bernabeu.
Oh, I
3-0 for them is nothing.
Mm.
They're going to think, no, these guys are going to turn around 5-3. I don't think, look, as I said in the car ride
Mm.
to the studio, Arsenal 3-0 up. And I said it before, Real Madrid can turn it around.
Yeah.
It's Real Madrid.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the kings of Europe. That's
But I've got a question for you. So Real Madrid has dominated in the Champions League.
Mm.
They've produced some amazing comebacks, especially that comeback against City. Do you think watching Arsenal play and the way they've been playing, there's no more Benzema, there's no more Kroos, Modric reaching the end of his career, right? He's slowing down. Yes, they've got Bellingham. Yes, they've got a
Valverde.
bunch of young kids now. You know, you got Rodrigo stepped up. He's playing. Brahim Diaz is playing. Do you think this Real Madrid can come back?
100%. It's Real Madrid. 100%. I
like-
believe that.
It's like they have a philosophy. They just have
Yeah.
something. It's like
Did you see
they
the
get like
did
a
you see
secret injection.
did you we're going
So
to
you're saying
play
it's
that
in
as
their
well.
DNA?
We're going
It's
to
in
play
their
that
DNA.
It's in their
It's in
DNA.
Real Madrid's DNA. Not on the play. It's in Real Madrid's DNA. They've got, like I just said, it's like a secret injection. They go, look, boys, you guys losing 3-0. Let me just inject something with you, like Space Jam, you know,
Yeah.
when they get the drink and just special drink and that's it. Bang, there you go from there. But I'm gonna say it now as it is. It's not over
No, no way.
until I see that second leg.
You know why it's not
I will
over?
Still have a hope of.
You know why it's not over?
No,
Did you see the smirk Ancelotti gave after the press conference?
no, what do you do?
We'll play that.
Mm.
We'll play it. That smirk scared me. I don't know if you guys saw it. The
Mm.
viewers probably saw it. That smirk scared me. Like that was like Grinch smirk.
I wouldn't say it would scare me. I'll just be like,
No, it scared me. No, it scared me. I was like, you know what? Something is going to happen at the Bernabeu. 90 minutes in the Bernabeu is too long for Arsenal.
it could be 120 minutes. You never know.
But it's still a 3-goal deficit.
But
And
Yeah, but you
but at the
Arsenal-
same
Arsenal
time,
was gonna-
at the
look,
same time, we can sit here and go, Real Madrid can turn it around, but Arsenal, it takes one goal for Arsenal to score in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then that's it. Tie's done.
Exactly.
right? And that's the thing, set pieces. Set pieces. Arsenal very dangerous from set
Very.
pieces.
Yeah.
And the way they were attacking in that game, there has to be a goal.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one goal. That one goal is going to create a massive challenge for
I reckon
Real
if they
Madrid.
had, I
Or
reckon if they
Kaka-
had Giroud, imagine they had
Oh,
Arsenal still had Giroud.
Yeah, but
Scoring
they
tackles.
need to.
Well, that's all you
He'll score
need.
the
Yeah, I
headers,
know.
he'll
He's
score the
a goal
headers.
scorer.
But conceding a goal at the Bernabeu, not conceding as in if Real Madrid do concede, that big gap of a 4-0, if they score first, is going to be, then you'll turn around and go, lights
It's
out.
over. Yeah. But if Madrid score early,
That's the thing. It all it takes is 2 quick goals in the first 20 minutes, and
Yeah,
then you got a game. Then you're going to be, and then I guarantee Arsenal is going to sit back.
my plan didn't go as I really wanted it to be. I'm hoping Real Madrid don't win it. But at the same time, I wanted them to knock out Arsenal, then get knocked out in the next round. Because I can't stand Arsenal. I can't stand Arsenal fans. Sorry, but I just had to say that.
I agree.
I hope they get Arsenal knocked out, and then Madrid get knocked out in the following round.
And I
Who
think
do they have after
yeah,
if they
I
do
was going
play?
to say who is it after, and I believe it's
It's not down to
I think
Oh,
it's
who's on
Inter.
I think it's Inter. Aston Villa.
is it
Inter?
Inter?
Inter Villa.
Let's have a quick look.
But if Madrid turn it around, it's going to be an easy run to the final.
So, gentlemen, it is going to be. Oh no, Aston Villa PSG.
So they will lead up to playing.
PSG Arsenal.
Oh, okay, PSG and Arsenal. So if Real Madrid wins, or if they win,
Yeah.
it will be either PSG. But
So you've got PSG and Arsenal.
well,
Paris Saint-Germain.
Possible.
possible
Possible matchup.
lead up to it, but
I love their ultras, man. PSG,
PSG.
their supporters, crazy.
Yeah, PSG.
Have you seen their videos? Have you seen their videos?
No, I actually haven't.
There was when they played United, when United won the Rashford when he scored the last minute goal in Paris.
Paris and
The
then
first leg they were in
I remember
Manchester.
those. I remember
Wow,
that.
their supporters, they're very passionate.
And they won, didn't they? PSG.
PSG won in
United,
at Old Trafford,
Old Trafford, yeah.
and then obviously Rashford.
But look, so then that leads up to So if Arsenal goes through, they'll be either playing PSG or Aston Villa. More likely to be PSG.
Yeah.
Now PSG has been playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw the goals, but what to score a goal against Martinez like that, like what Kvaratskhelia did, and then on top of that, Nuno Mendes sends the defender.
Yeah, I saw that one.
And scores, bro. And with his weaker foot, what the hell is he doing there in the first place? I've got no clue. But I said this before. PSG is one of the favourites, I would say, and their team as a collective is so well organised.
And they're hungry.
And they're very hungry for it.
They're hungry.
And I kind of hope they do win it. As much as I
do want to see PSG in the final. I want to see PSG in the final.
I want to say something controversial. It's not even controversial. I'll say it as it is. Next 2-3 years, if Kvaratskhelia performs the way he's performing,
Well, Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or.
Well, if
100%.
he performs as it is now, and then the next year as well, and let's say they go win the Champions League, and then eventually they'll go into Club World Cup and wins the Club World Cup and everything, then possibility, but you have to understand the other players that's around them as well. You got other players that might want it. Like, let's just say back to Real Madrid, Vini Jr., he's got to show he wants to be that Ballon d'Or candidate and win the Ballon d'Or, prove it in the next game for us, and then we can start talking. Then you've got
Mbappe in the same team.
Yeah, Mbappe in the same team, but then go look at Barcelona. What about Lamine Yamal?
Rafinha.
Or Rafinha? Yeah,
Rafinha's
Rafinha.
an amazing
I love
form.
Rafinha. He's good.
He's killing it.
And then, and bringing to the Barca and Dortmund game, 4-0, Barca destroyed, at home and everything, but
First half wasn't all that convincing.
it wasn't convincing. But then
Second
again,
half.
second half, when you have a clinical striker named Lewandowski up front and you put youngsters around him, that just shows you like the well organized, experience shown to the youngsters and then shown out and bringing it in. It's just going
But
back
that's
and
what
forth.
you need.
And I'm going to say this, adding to your controversy, but I think that if Lewandowski continues to play the way that he is, the goals, the assists, I think he's up for a.
I'm
For
sorry,
a run
but
on that Ballon d'Or.
he should have won
He
it in
should-
2013.
Well,
Or is it either down to
it was
Ribéry?
2020. He should have won it, but they rescinded the Ballon d'Or that year. He was technically meant to win it, and Messi said it himself the
'Cause
year
of COVID,
after
yeah.
because of COVID. He deserved the Ballon d'Or. I don't know why they didn't give it to him. He deserved it, and he didn't get it. Benzema did win one, didn't he? Benzema eventually won one,
Yeah.
and deservedly. Okay, but beforehand, Lewin deserved it.
100%.
And he should have got it. If he continues his form at Barca, which I believe he will, no matter his age, okay, because he doesn't need to run. Okay, we have this habit of coaches saying they need to run.
Said it last week,
but
didn't we?
yeah, no, but like we're talking on a personal perspective.
No, that's what I'm talking about. 7-2, remember?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's not always about running. It's always about how you play the game and your IQ.
Being in the right position.
Lewandowski enables the players around him to perform. So he's allowed Rafinha to play. He's allowed Yamal to play. All these young midfielders around him are starting to play. I mean, look at that Barca team, and you just think, wow,
Exactly.
just wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of controversy, MaticVOnana.
Yeah.
Now, when I looked at this,
You're a United supporter, being mind.
this is coming from a United supporter, and I'm sure every other United supporter would agree with me. We need to get Onana out of the club.
Really?
ASAP. Yes.
Well, what?
I don't know what gloves he wears. I don't know what sponsor he has, but change your gloves or
Does he
get
have
out.
the glue? He's like, doesn't got no
I
glue.
do not. I can't believe it. I
You gotta
can't
spin
believe
it.
it. Like it's. I watched the highlights because I couldn't be bothered watching the game because I knew something will tick me off, and I even saw Angry Ginge.
Plastic fan.
Yeah, plastic. I've been a fan since I was born, 97, mate. Yeah, look, it's something that I agree for Matt.
Wow, you hurt Dino.
That's my baby.
I agree with Matic. I think Daniel. I think Onana needs to go. I don't think it was the right move for United to buy Onana.
Look, what he
and
said.
I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if we signed De Gea again. I want De Gea back, man.
Look, all I have to say before we continue on it is that Onana, what he said, obviously, what Matthew said, and we'll bring it up. Well, what he mentioned was that he said that Onana is the worst goalkeeper in Man United history.
He is.
And if you look back, Schmeichel.
Don't say he's the worst one.
No. You had Schmeichel, you had Van der Sar, then you had De Gea. All of them exceptional.
Yeah.
Especially like Van der Sar was great, but De Gea, with how shit United were throughout the years,
carried us, man.
he was the reason. I always said
He saved.
he saves United.
He saved us from relegation.
Every time.
Literally.
He saves United so many times in every game. And the fact that you think, a player would save him, like an outfield player, it's actually the goalkeeper. And that was De Gea for United. And
he went so far too.
yeah.
He went so far, pushed himself so far that when he got the ball and he looked up and he saw Maguire, he kicked the ball out.
Exactly. That's how good he was. That's how
Smart.
smart.
Switched on.
Right?
I'll kick the ball if I had Maguire in the defense.
The fact that the one, I would say, I don't know if he would regret this, De Gea, but he got offered to go to Real Madrid after Casillas was gone. He got offered to go, like as in he was going to go to Real
What are you
Madrid.
talking about? The fax machine broke.
Yeah, the fax machine.
Remember, who remembers that? I don't reckon the audience will remember that. The
Yeah.
fax machine, that was their excuse. The fax machine broke.
Yeah, I remember that.
But you know what? Keylor Navas did say that. He did say that it was due to a fax machine error.
Yeah.
One of the richest clubs in the world,
Had a fax
and
machine.
they cannot get their fax machine right.
It's like they didn't have paper for
Why,
that.
hold
printer.
on. Why couldn't they just email the thing?
Nah.
I think they sacked it. I think they
fax
sacked
is
the-
different. Fax is you push it through and then you sign it and then you send it back. But that's it. But then again, you could do e-signature, but that's illegal. Some places don't do that.
I wonder what happened that day.
Just put
Maybe
the guy
someone
in a jet.
unplugged the fax
just send him on a
They
jet.
probably sacked the admin after that.
straight out. I guarantee someone didn't want him. Like, I don't want him. No, but look, I agree everything what Matic said, but one thing I don't agree with is, and we'll bring up the tweet that Onana did before the game, or maybe a couple of days before the game. He turned around and said, "I will never be disrespectful to another club. We know that tomorrow will be a difficult game against a strong opponent. We focus on preparing a performance to make our fans proud. At least I've lifted trophies with the greatest club in the world. Some can't say the same."
Crock of shit.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, he didn't lift the trophy at United. Okay. But he lifted, I believe it was 3 Premier Leagues with Chelsea. Okay, now he lifted only a, what do we call it? A FA Cup, which
Sorry,
some
boys, this
people,
conversation's getting too hot.
which people will say is a Mickey Mouse like cup. They don't.
Who? The FA Cup?
Yeah, but it's the
What do you
highest
mean?
prestige. They
I
say it's
love the
the
FA Cup.
No, the FA Cup. Look, if you win it, it's
fun.
great.
It's interesting
fun.
to
It's
watch.
interesting. Carabao Cup is not interesting, but for him to go and say that and haven't won the Premier League, which is what your aim is when you're in the Premier League, and to say that was so, let's just say, stupid.
I'm looking at his hands and the way he's gripping that trophy.
I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
He doesn't want to let that go.
How did he not drop it?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's probably the only trophy he's going to lift.
You know how like they did that meme with Karius, and it's just like there's a cut hole in between. For him to say that it was just very, very stupid. And then the fact that on the day after in that game, I would say 2 of those games were his mistakes, even though the first one was a tough free kick to save. But the second one, for him to just fumble that ball and it concede like that, it's like you could say it's karma, but then again, Matic did start it. But
No,
to fumble like that.
technically the journalist started it.
Yeah, that's true. It's always
And
the journalist
Matic added on.
to antagonize it.
This
That's
is
what
the
journalists
thing
are for, yeah.
about Onana that I'm still struggling to understand. He makes some incredible saves. I mean, his reflexes.
In Ajax.
No, but even for United, he's made some double and triple saves. His reflexes are one of the best in the world. What's going on? I honestly don't understand what's going on, because he's making some great saves, right? His reflexes, his reflexes are arguably one of the best in the world. You look at him sometimes, he's like a cat, you know. He sees a ball, he's just there, and then the ball just
goes through. It just falls. You know why? You know why he's struggling? Because he's at United.
Yeah, but
Don't we all struggle? I've been struggling since Sir Alex left.
Exactly.
and if you look back at Neuer, and his the beginning of his career with Bayern before he got injured, he did fumble a couple of balls. I remember there was one shot he conceded from distance and went through his legs.
Yeah.
But like the keepers recover from that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what's going on. I wish I could, because he moves so well. His reflexes are so good. He
Yeah.
just can't catch the ball.
I know. Like, honestly, I still can't believe like how you could say how bad he's been playing at United compared to him when he was in Ajax. Because I don't be in mind, Chelsea was going to get him when he was in Ajax. And I was watching highlights of him, and I found him as a decent, a good keeper. He's making Robert Sanchez, look good. And I don't rate Sanchez. Like, he's tall and all, but I call him Air Sanchez because the way he dives is just he flies. But
Remember that picture where he dived and he was like posing?
yeah, exactly. He does these random poses. Like, he's like, like Pickford. Pickford exaggerates his dives.
He exaggerates his goal kicks as well.
Yeah. But I'd rather have Pickford over Onana now. Like, I love
100%.
100%.
I like, you know what? We can bag Pickford, but he's a good keeper.
Yeah,
He gives it his all. Like, all right, he makes mistakes, whatever, but he gives it his all. Onana can't even catch a ball for shit.
The fact that he's competing with Pope and Newcastle, like Nick Pope, for that England national team, it's a good competitive nature to them too, especially when you're going from Joe Hart to them two. You know what I mean? You got good replacements, and then Onana. Be in mind, Man United's got Bayandir, the Turkish goalkeeper,
who's performed well.
He's performed well, but he doesn't get the chance. It's usually what I always say. I don't know if it's an English thing. It might be controversial here, but they don't like playing Turkish players in their teams. Because every time, like Cenk Tosun he went to Everton, barely played any minutes. Didn't give the guy a chance, and he just sat and on the bench. Enes Unal from Bournemouth. Sits on the bench. They need a striker. They don't play him, and then they go buy another striker. Like, why not? I don't get what's the issue. Don't get me wrong, he got injured here and there too, but you got players like that, and then you got Arda Güler sitting on the bench as well. I don't know if it's a because they're from Turkey, or I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, but I think Arda Güler's situation is a bit different.
yeah, it's a Real Madrid team. Yeah.
He's growing, he's developing. Remember, a lot of these,
How
a
old's
lot of these
Arda?
youngsters.
I think he's like 19 or 20 now.
Well, there you go.
He's
That's
still
your
a kid.
answer.
But all these youngsters come through the system, right? They
Yeah.
play in the youth teams. They come through their academies.
But Arda
Arda Güler picked up from Turkey.
I was going to
from
say, he
Fener.
didn't come from the academies.
He came from
So-
Fener.
He's
Yeah.
learning,
Yeah.
right? He's around all these great players. He's learning,
Yeah.
and that for me is the greatest
I'd-
thing you can have.
I was just going to say that. You've got the best of the best around you.
Yeah, he's
Learn from them.
20. Yeah, he's
Because
20 years
You learning from the best of the best. He's 20 years old.
old.
Learning from the best of the best will get you
Of
Remember,
course.
he's,
You know.
he's playing still
at
With
that top
them.
level.
around them. He's training with them. They have their games. They
As
have
much
their,
as
know.
he's not playing games, he's training with Real Madrid.
But would
He's
you
in there.
say it like this, bringing it to Onana, okay? If De Gea was there with Onana, or just Van der Sar was there with Onana,
He wouldn't have seen the game.
no. As in, let's say it's the back end of the career of De Gea and Van der Sar, one of them, or either or. Wouldn't that be more of a confident and boost to Onana to learn from the best, you could say? Because that's what Arda Güler is going to be doing. He's going to be learning from the best.
How old's Onana?
I don't know, actually. Let's find out.
Well, he's fumbling ball with his hands. I don't see what you can learn about.
I don't think.
But you know what I mean? Because
Look, no.
you would have, like, you know how CR7 will come and he'll be a role model. Like, you've got a role model next to you.
Yeah, but
Who
the
was-
role model for mentality?
is what I
is
wanna-
29 years
understanding
old.
game
He's
knowledge,
29.
football IQ.
29.
How old's De Gea?
He's older than
34?
me.
De Gea's like 30 something, 36 at least.
I
35.
think it would have been a Van der Sar. Who was Van der Sar's second keeper?
Wasn't De Gea there?
Because no, it was a Polish keeper.
Polish.
Yeah.
I was going to say Dudek, but I'm like, that's Liverpool.
No.
And he wasn't playing at that time.
But yeah, no, it's Onana wouldn't have seen a game. He might have seen
Yeah, 34.
cup games
Yeah.
against Coventry City.
Well, that's. But you know, this is the thing, yeah. Baydander doesn't even play in the cup game sometimes. And he doesn't even get a light of day. He just plays Onana, which is
Yeah,
annoying.
I think it depends on the game because he played in one of their recent games and he performed very well. He actually
Yeah.
performed very well. I remember watching the game and
Thomas
it was
Kusak.
outstanding.
Thomas Kusak.
Kusak, yeah. Same with him.
It would have been one of those.
Yeah.
So Van der Sar being De Gea, Kusak being Onana. He wouldn't
Mm.
have seen a game. He would have seen cup games.
Yeah.
Um,
But regardless, look, the beef between each other of Matic and Onana, it was so stupid.
it's not even beef. It's facts.
It's facts,
Sorry.
yeah. Well,
I'm a United supporter. It's
Matic
facts.
is giving facts.
100%.
Matic is giving facts.
You know
And
what?
what did he end up saying? He returned. He came back after the game and he said he put a
I told you
post
so.
up.
I told you so.
Yeah.
With a picture of the rating from the game against Leon.
4.5 rating, I think.
4.45. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Like-
for more rated him at 4.8. They gave him a little bit more.
That's the most funniest thing you can ask for. No, you could say that's the funniest told you so from a perspective. Like if that was me, I would have loved every moment of that post.
He would have been
Yeah.
under pressure for sure.
Oh, 100%.
And I would have seen that conference and it would have been like,
Now I've got to prove a point. And then he goes and screws up.
he proved 2 points.
And then,
Shit.
look, where do you go from there? Like, honestly, as a keeper, not even a keeper, as a player in general, player or keeper, like an outfield player, where do you go from here after getting told off? And then you're like, okay, on to the next game. What do I do? Like, do I prove myself wrong? Yeah, you could do
On the
you
bench.
on the bench. Honestly, you either prove yourself as a goalkeeper. You only get to prove yourself by keeping clean sheets and doing wonderful saves. But you can have a game, and then you can have a shit game the next game.
I have a question.
Just play Altay.
I have a question.
I hope so.
Just play him.
And we'll make this the last question of the segment. But as a goalkeeper, right, that ball's going into the top corner, or just a bit more in towards the goal. You dive. Is it better that you get a hand to it and it goes in, or it flies past you?
I'd rather get it fly past me, because if I got a hand to it, that means I was that close to it and I've got something to it and I should have done better. That's how I'll look at it.
Okay.
Because I'd rather let it pass me, because then if it is pros and cons on both. Because if you go let it pass me, then your positioning is shit.
Yeah, but it was a great shot. I
was a
couldn't
great
see
shot.
it. You know, I didn't have time to react to
Yeah.
it, right? But if you dive for that ball, and I think a little bit of what's happening with Onana is he's getting to those balls. Can't stop him.
Like we said, we need glue on his hands to understand how to work. Or maybe we need to teach him how to use his hands. maybe he needs to do some alone time. He needs some alone time to work on it.
No. I'm done with him. No.
Really?
Transfer list. Get him on the transfer list.
But who are you going to get in return? Who are you going to get in return? Who's a good goalkeeper these days?
He wants the hair back.
Yeah, I know he wants the hair back.
I would never go back.
Yeah, I'll never go back.
I'd never go back. If you know, after everything that's happened, why would you go back to a club that literally had you without a team for so long?
Yeah, and then get rid of you after. But who would you get in return? Who's another keeper would you get now that's performing?
Bayender.
Yeah, but you got Bayender, but like the thing
Bring
is,
him up. He's performing well. Every game he's played, he's performed well.
Yeah, but you know
that's
how
your
like
goalkeeper for now.
Yeah, but you know how
you
it
got to
is.
start somewhere.
Second string doesn't play. Like
Yeah, but you got to start somewhere.
that's true, but it's United. So are they actually going to play, or they've got the money? They'll just go, okay, let me go spend some keeper. Like if I had to pick a keeper, you can either get the Porto keeper, Diego Costa, I think his name is Diego Costa. I think.
Yeah.
He's a decent keeper. Then you look around and you go, like I was surprised that Matt Gunok from after the World Cup performance, was it the World Cup or the Euro we just had passed? His performance didn't get a call up to a different team. He just stayed in the Turkish league.
Well, that's the thing.
No recognition to the
That's the
Turkish
thing
league.
with. Look, there's these sort of players like, I don't know, maybe we see something the scouts don't see or whatnot, but we got to give opportunities to people like that. You know what I mean? Like you got to give opportunities to, whether it's Turkish, whether it's Greek, whether it's Italian, whatever. If the player's good, no matter what nationality you are,
You're playing.
play him.
Yeah.
I don't care about nationalities and all that. If you're good, throw him in the team. This is not. It's got nothing to do with nationalities and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's got to do with performance.
I think
If you can't catch a ball for shit, you're gone.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
But here's the thing, and this is something that obviously you watch the World Cup, you watch the Euros, you watch all these international competitions. A lot of players perform in international competitions.
Yeah.
And then you go and watch how they perform in the league.
Yeah.
Who's the best goalkeeper you've seen international competitions?
Martinez.
Mexico.
Mexico, I was going to say. Yeah.
Right?
Ochoa.
Martinez did
Ochoa.
well. Yeah.
And
Don't worry about Martinez. Ochoa is the guy.
Yeah, he did well and he didn't get called up to anywhere.
But what else is he doing? How's he going in his league? Why isn't he getting a call up?
Yeah.
Right? There are things that footballers do consistently, habits that they perform in every game that you can't really change. You can't change.
Actually, you know who's a perfect example?
So why would they call a player?
Yeah.
Why would they call a player who's got so many poor habits? We'll say poor habits, or he's got a style of play that doesn't work for you and for your team and for what you're looking for. Why would you get called up to play in a bigger team?
But you know who perfect example actually got called up to a bigger team because he had an amazing World Cup. James Rodriguez. He did so well in the World Cup. I honestly didn't see nothing special besides his goal. And then he got called up to Real Madrid.
He did okay for Madrid. It wasn't bad.
I don't remember
He didn't live
anything.
up to his expectation.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything. When you think of James Rodriguez in Real Madrid, what did he do? Nothing comes to my
Nothing
mind.
outstanding.
No, nothing.
But look at the players around him too.
There's one
That's
thing I want
true.
to...
But you still got to show that
Outshined
you're assisting to these players. You know what I mean? Like how Ozil was at Real Madrid and assisting to Ronaldo. You know, like James is there with Benzema and Ronaldo and Bale. Why couldn't you do anything with him? He couldn't give nothing to them.
Before we close off this topic, I want to mention something about Ochoa. Do you think that he played it smart to stick to his normal league, get good money? Because if he went to a big club, he would have been screwed over and stayed on the bench.
He was in La Liga.
Yeah, but what team in La Liga? That's the thing.
I think it was.
He wasn't in the top four.
No, he wasn't.
teams.
No way.
He was, Getafe or something like that. I don't know what team he was playing for.
He was. He was playing something similar to
But
Girona or
at
something.
the same time, all right, he's still in La Liga. You're still getting good money. I would go to Getafe. I would go to Celta Vigo. Fucking oath, you're in La Liga.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe he played it smart. Maybe he's like, I don't want to go to the big four, whatever it is, big three.
Yeah,
because I might be benched.
Yeah,
I might not be performing like I did in the Mexico national team. That's completely different.
Or you're out there. You're out in a year.
He suits the style in the Mexican international team. They've got their own style.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the TFT show. Ali, What do you have in your locker today?
So guys, we've got a new segment that we've decided to introduce into the show. And in this segment, we'll be talking about players of football heritage, football from the 1950s and 60s and 70s, but footballers who were overshadowed by maybe other players during that time in their generation, who were great players, who were performing at the highest level. And today, in my locker, I've got, arguably you could say, one of the best French midfielders of his generation. Today we'll be talking about Michel Platini. Now, long before analytics and algorithms took hold of football, there was Michel Platini, a Frenchman with a philosopher's mind and an artist's touch. Born in 1955 in Joffre, Platini grew up in a working-class family where football wasn't just a game, it was an escape. Now, little did the world know that the boy juggling balls on the streets of Lorraine would one day redefine what it meant to be a midfielder. Platini began his professional career at AS Nancy in 1972, where he quickly rose to prominence. More than just a clever passer or a set-piece specialist, he was a complete attacking force. By the time he left Nancy in 1979, he scored 98 goals in 181 games and delivered them their first major trophy, the 1978 Coupe de France. He moved on to Saint-Étienne, France's biggest club at the time, where he won the Ligue 1 in 1981. His playstyle evolved, less raw, it was more refined. He wasn't just orchestrating attacks, he was finishing them. Platini ended his French club career with 100 plus goals in a staggering feat for a player whose primary position was a midfield. Now in 1982, Michel Platini took a new challenge. Juventus, where Italian defenders guarded goals like a fortress, but Platini had the key. He struggled to play first, to adapt to Serie A, physicality, defense, but his second season, he was unstoppable. He led the Serie A as the top scorer 3 years in a row, between 1983 to 1985, in an almost unheard of achievement for a midfielder. With Platini pulling the strings and finishing moves, Juventus conquered Europe. He scored the winning goal in the 1985 European Cup final, now known as the Champions League, against Liverpool, albeit from the penalty spot, but in a match that was tragically overshadowed by the Hazel Stadium disaster. Still though, that win completed an incredible trophy haul for Michel Platini. 2 Serie A titles, 1 Coppa Italia, 1 European Cup, 1 Super Cup, and 1 Cup Winners' Cup. By the end of his club career, Platini had recorded 224 goals in 432 games, with dozens of assists that helped define Juve's golden era. For 5 years, he was the dominant force in European football. I'm going to talk about the Ballon d'Or as well, because Platini's peak was so pronounced that he won the Ballon d'Or 3 years in a row. 1983, 1984, and 1985. He was the first player in Ballon d'Or history to win that Ballon d'Or 3 years in a row. He was named UEFA Player of the Year, French Footballer of the Year, and was widely regarded as the best player in the world during that time. His blend of goals, grace, and leadership had no equal. Platini's crowning moment, though, came on home soil in 1984 during the European Championship. As captain of France, he didn't just lead, he electrified. In 5 games, he scored 9 goals, a record that still stands. The defining moment came in the semi-final against Portugal. Portugal were leading 2-0 at the time. Michel Platini brought it back to 2-2. And in the 119th minute of extra time, he ghosted into the box, slammed the ball home. Shirts pulled, eyes blazing, arms raised. It wasn't just a winning goal, it was a statement. France has arrived. France would go on to beat Spain in the final, lifting their first ever major international trophy, with Platini winning player of the tournament. Now we look at his goals in official games, right? Platini scored 265 goals in 504 official games. That's a 0.53 goals per game ratio for a midfielder. You look at greats like Zidane with a 0.16 goals per game ratio. Makes you wonder. No one's come close. Michel Platini wasn't just a midfielder who scored goals. He was a midfielder who transformed them. He blurred the lines between playmaker and striker. His game was a symphony, and he was both the conductor and the soloist. And though his post-playing years as a football executive brought controversy on the pitch, Platini's legacy remains pure. A genius in boots who played with a poet's elegance and a predator's instinct. A little story from, arguably one of the best French midfielders, I would say, of his generation.
I would also agree to that, because if you look at what Henri have said when they ask him who was the best French footballer, and he would say Platini. Yes, Zizou will be there, but people don't know the history of Platini, because most of us at our generation now wasn't born when he was playing. I've always heard about him, knew about him, but I never watched him, let alone knew his story. Thank you for that, Ali.
No worries.
I'm going to acknowledge the legends as well. Certain
course.
underrated legends, Platini one of them. Obviously, he's not talked enough.
No.
It's always usually Maradona, Pele, Maradona, Pele.
Always.
There's no one's passing that. And I think we need to stop this whole debate of who's better. Let's just acknowledge that we live in a generation where we
have our own.
We have our own.
CR7.
My father's days, your father's days, like everyone's fathers had their days as well, where they looked in the 70s or the 80s and 90s and go, wow, that was our generation.
Yeah.
Arguably, their generation was much better.
Yeah.
It was different.
Well, I can say
football was very different back then.
Very different.
But it was the 90s and early 2000s is where football was
Prime.
prime.
I agree on that. But just in general, Platini as a player, yes, we haven't seen how he played, but I can guarantee that he was on par with Maradona and Pele. Yes, Pele was on another world, same as Maradona. They won their World Cups and so on. But we have to respect other players that were playing in the game at that time.
All right, guys, moving on from that segment. Predictions. We've got Premier League coming this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Champions League in a few days as well.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Chelsea's versus Ipswich. Now, if you haven't realised, Premier League now is for Champions League spot is top 5.
Well,
It's
the
not
Premier League's
4.
pretty much wrapped up now anyway, so
Yeah,
Liverpool's won that.
But the top 4 or top
Still
5,
very close. It's
Top
still very
4 is
close.
still there, but the league in general is wrapped up
Yeah.
by Liverpool. So.
yeah, Liverpool's we could say now is done and dusted. They've won the league, but for the Champions League spot, the fact that it's
Not
now
over till the fat lady sings.
it's over.
No, it's over.
The fact that Champions League spot is now 5, okay, gives Chelsea hope, gives Nottingham Forest hope, it gives City hope as well, and Newcastle.
And Arsenal.
Everton won the league.
And maybe Arsenal.
Everton won the league for Liverpool, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
technically.
yes. I kind of hope, Chelsea needs to win that game, and it's a home game, so against Ipswich, so I believe I could say is a prediction based. We did finally score some goals in the Conference League, even though it was a weaker team. No offense to that team anyway, but probably a 1-0. But then again, depends on the lap. We did get pumped by them last time, so 1-0 or 0-0 as always, because Chelsea's not performing attackably.
United City drew 0-0.
In the last game, yeah. So now
That shows how crap City are now.
yeah,
when
but
you draw to Man United.
you guys got United's got Newcastle.
We're gonna lose that.
That's
one.
an important game for Newcastle, because if they lose that game, they stay below Chelsea, because they have a game in hand.
Give them the game.
Please don't.
Yeah, I think
Give them the game.
think
I'm
Isaac-
actually hoping for United
Isaac
to win.
for a brace.
Who?
Yeah,
Isaac
Isak.
for
Nah, hat trick.
Hat trick for
Hat-trick?
Isak
Yeah.
at home, possibility. Yeah, Wolves and Tottenham.
I'm
That's a
so
good game.
bad. I'm always against United now. I'm just over it.
Told you, plastic
Look,
fan.
maybe
No,
you
I'm
just,
just literally, I'm
maybe
just
you
over it.
genuinely just hate United.
And
Not
you
really.
And you like
Maybe
Chelsea.
it's that, eh? No, maybe it's that. Maybe I should
Maybe
just
you
start
don't
going
love
for
the
like a
club.
Swindon town or something.
Mm.
Maybe it's
Shrewsbury.
high
There's
expectation.
there's a club that's doing much better than you guys.
Go for Nottingham.
Maybe Liverpool.
No, they also wear red. No, not Liverpool.
What?
You got Forest.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest.
No, I'm not going for Forest.
No. You want to go for Tottenham?
Because the owner is the owner of Olympiacos.
Go for Tottenham.
yeah.
Go for Tottenham.
Spurs. Yeah, there's no high expectations with that lot. You know what?
They drew.
Wolves is not a good shout. Is not a bad shout.
Yeah, but they're like
All right, Wolves when
Borderline
they had the
getting
whole
relegated.
Portuguese team.
Yeah, they were fun
Yeah,
to watch.
they're
When they
borderline
had
getting
Nuno
relegated.
Santos.
You've got you've got City and Crystal Palace. Now, like I've always said, Crystal Palace always comes with a
surprise result.
surprise result, especially against United. And City.
And
If you guys remember City game, yeah, you remember
And
this? Do you remember this? I don't know when it was, maybe 2-3 years ago. Crystal Palace City and Townsend. Was it Townsend that did the long volley?
Yeah.
You remember that? That was an upset.
Yeah, wow.
Now that game was going to be, I think it'll be entertaining. I still believe City can pull something out of their locker just because City and
City.
Marmoush,
Performing.
the fact that he's performing,
I
coming
thought
to
you
a
were going to
brand
say
new league.
Manouche.
Well, we can have some after.
I'm hungry right now.
I want to talk about Arsenal and Brentford because Arsenal need a win,
Yes,
and Brentford is a team that
I love Brentford,
has-
man.
has been
I
pulling
love 'em.
results.
Their
They've been
coach
pulling
is
good
amazing.
results.
in Breno.
I love their coach, man.
Breno.
He's
He's been
instilled
performing.
he's instilled a good mentality into that
Is
club.
it Thomas Frank?
Thomas Frank,
Yeah.
very very good coach. I saw the I don't know if you guys saw it. He was actually mic'd up on the sideline.
Oh, really?
Very very good coach.
Yeah.
Like
what he was saying.
you want to be under him as a coach,
That's pretty good.
as a player. Sorry.
Do you think Brentford pull a result against Arsenal? And a result is a draw. For me, a
And-
result for Brentford against Arsenal, it's a draw.
Of course.
It
As a team like
denies Arsenal hope and
that. I look at Brentford
secures the
and
league for Liverpool.
I believe both of them. I'm not saying they're equally the same, but I believe set piece wise, they are.
Brentford is a strong team.
And Brentford likes to score early. I don't know if you saw there was one streak there
Yeah.
in Breno was just scoring like in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They were just always scoring, and I hope they do it again. But realistically, look, we're in match day 32 out of 38. Yeah, 6 games you could say there's left. It is coming to a close. We all know. We're all looking at it now. We all gave up. Liverpool's winning the league.
Props to
but-
them, bro. You
yeah,
know what?
they
As much
deserve
as
it. They
as
deserve
much
it.
as I despise them,
They deserved it.
they deserved it.
They
They did.
earned it.
They played.
earned it.
They played well, but you can't. You can't.
Carried by Mo Salah.
Yes,
100%.
not Nunes. But you have to also agree that a lot of teams are so faulty this year.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on this year
City-
with the Premier League.
But
This year's been very-
injuries
That's
has
what it
killed the
is.
teams. Chelsea players got injured, but let alone.
Well, we've got
But
50 players.
yeah, but our manager kind of. I don't know with the Chelsea fans, but the managers is the reason why I feel like our fallout has dropped because we started so well, and then he turned around and said we're not competing for the Premier League pretty much. They're not ready for it. Once they said that, everything has changed. You can't just say that. You always, as a Chelsea supporter, as a Chelsea, as a sporting director, or you could say their aim is
Go
always
for it. We always go for it.
always go
We
for
always
it.
go for it.
If you're a new manager that coming in, especially an Italian
Is
one
that
like
what he
that,
said?
Yeah.
he goes, "We're not ready for it." He
We're
goes,
not
"Then
competing."
"We're not competing. We're not ready for it."
Chelsea,
You can't-
Chelsea weren't ready for the Champions League a couple of years back and they won it.
Conte came in. They didn't even have a team that looked like they were ready for it. What happened? We won it. First year.
They won it under Tuchel, didn't they? The
No,
Champions
they
League. I'm
didn't.
talking
They won
about
the
Champions
Tuchel,
League.
yeah, but I'm talking about the Premier League.
Premier League, yeah. Conte came in and won
Conte
it the
won
first year.
it, exactly.
Ancelotti came in first year of Chelsea
Exactly.
and they won it.
Mourinho,
Mourinho did it twice.
twice. No, and Ancelotti as well. Did it twice.
Like,
So think of it, okay? Now,
if you have that mentality, wow.
exactly.
Oh my God. That's scary.
Arsenal, typical Arsenal, bottle everything. They bottled their results. Just sums up everything. Look, we got the bottle to show it. We should just get a bottle and make Arsenal in like logo on it. Tottenham, to be honest, Tottenham was doing really well, and we mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Due to injuries, they fell
Before we
off.
close the show off, I just want to say one thing about Tottenham. If Tottenham win the Europa League,
Oh no, bro, you got to do it like this. If
Not when, if.
if there's no wins with Tottenham, if they win the Europa League, is Ange staying or going?
He should stay.
he should leave.
Because I've seen. Hang on,
He should leave.
I've seen coaches,
Mourinho, just before the final.
I've seen coaches take their sides to the final
Then get sacked
and
beforehand.
get sacked before that.
Yeah. It's like the board is like,
So-
no. We want to keep the history like this.
So this
We
could
don't
be.
trust him.
We'll definitely clip this.
Yeah.
If Tottenham make the final, could we see a potential exit for Postecoglou
Before the final,
before the final?
possibility, yes.
I hope not.
But I hope not. And like you just said, I hope he does win it.
So he can prove a point.
No, he could prove a point, yes. Okay.
And then he
with
will
all
leave.
those things, injuries and all that. He wins it, then leave. If he leaves, he will leave as a legend because at the end of the day, he won a trophy for Tottenham
Yeah.
and leave like legend and go away and
Can
not
I-
to deal with any
Can I
headaches.
say as well?
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
he always wins the trophy in his
What?
second season.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Postecoglou. So he's like Mourinho.
So
Mourinho's
this
like
could
his
be
third year.
did
this
it in
could be
Japan,
itching
In
for
the Scottish League. Yeah.
for Tottenham's first European title.
Possibility. I honestly, I
You
kind
know
of
what?
hope so.
I think they can do
I
it.
want him to win it.
I think they
I
can do
do.
it. I
I
think
do.
they can
And
do
They
it.
I believe-
Ange deserves it. The fans deserve it. Although they're cocky pricks,
yeah.
they
But
deserve
they're
it.
not as cocky as Arsenal fans.
No way.
Yeah.
North London is white and blue.
North London is
It's
just
blue.
blue.
It's just blue.
No.
We've got a
But why,
Champions
why,
League.
why do you think Arsenal
Oh,
had a
London
second?
in general is blue.
London in-
Apparently,
Why do
yeah.
you think Arsenal created a blue kit a couple seasons ago?
They just feel like they want to feel like Chelsea.
Yeah.
They
guess-
they
guess-
thought they were going to win something. and I
there's
think they did.
another club that wears red that decided to have a blue jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Next show. Next show.
We'll put the photos.
Next episode.
Mm.
I'm going to ask you two a
Mm.
very unique question.
Mm.
Your favorite kit of all time. We're not going to
Don't
say it
worry.
now.
I've got it.
Next episode,
Mhm.
but make it good. I've already got my kit lined up.
If
you can. If you can, wear it.
Yeah, if I can get it. I'll
But that's our next,
yeah, easy.
one of our next topics
100%.
is the kits. Because I'm into kits and I'm into retro stuff.
You
so.
into kids or kids?
Kits.
Thank you guys for watching today's episode of the Total Football Talk Show. We are your hosts, Ali, Nej, and Val. Nej?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Follow our socials. There will be link down on the below in the description. Follow us on TikTok. We'll have a lot of videos will be coming out shortly within TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, see you later, guys.